Today's episode of Big Brother UK, we see the aftermath of Caroline and Zila's transphobic situation. As I suspected, she's definitely playing into turning herself into a victim. She's crying, she's moping about, and she knows what she's doing, and it's working because everybody's going up to her to comfort her and to tell her that, you know, she's a good person. They know that she didn't have bad intent. And I don't know if it's just the edit, but it seems like to me there's more comforting going on to Caroline than there is for Zila. And I think it's because Zila is putting on a strong face. And perhaps is even maybe low-key encouraging people, oh, like, I'm fine, you know, go see how Caroline is doing. I'm hurt about the situation, but I'm fine. Obviously, Caroline's very hurt about the situation. I don't want her to feel isolated from the group. That's very much the vibe of the house. To me, it's very clear that Caroline is only concerned about not being cancelled. We also have to remember that Nancy caught a stray in this whole conversation as well. I feel like a lot of people are minimizing Nancy's feelings and invalidating her feelings. From this episode, it actually doesn't seem like she was crying about the Pan situation. I think she was kind of crying about the situation as a whole because it's not very pleasant and she was kind of involved. I don't think she actually really cared that much about the Pan comment, but even if she did, that is perfectly valid. Imagine a core part of your identity constantly being made a joke out of. If that's constantly happening and then you're in a heightened situation and then you're put in a heightened situation, like the whole question in general about the whole repopulation thing was uncomfortable anyway. I can imagine her being upset about it, and even just a comment alone, perfectly valid. I just feel like people are very comfortable dismissing sexualities that don't fall into the main categories. Pansexuality is a valid sexuality, and any homophobia and dismissal around it should be taken seriously. But anyway, back to Caroline. Very focused on her PR of being the wounded white woman and making people feel sorry for her, feigning ignorance, trying to use her age as, oh, you know, I'm 30 years older than everybody. Like, I've never, you know, had a trans friend before. Like, you don't always know what to say. I'm still figuring it out, that angle. Again, I still do not buy it. I do not buy it. Like I said in my other video, I bet you she's gone on Wikipedia, she's gone on Google, and she's done a deep dive on transness. She's done a deep dive on trans identity, looked up all of these pictures and whatnot, and she still decided to say this to Zila. And I just feel like people with good intentions, even if they were confused about language, what they should and shouldn't say to trans people, I don't know how we now get to the extreme of telling a trans man that they're a girl and telling them that they don't have a willy. How did we get to this extreme if you had good intentions in the first place? I've been in a position of myself where I was 18 and I had transferred to an all-girls sixth form and there was a trans male student there. I wasn't informed and they introduced themselves to me and I was confused because I'm meant to be at an all-girls school. My first time interacting with a trans person, but I instinctively knew that I should be mindful here. This person went out of their way to say hi to me, to welcome me into the school. I had just arrived. And as somebody with good intentions, I knew it was common courtesy not to express my confusion. And I knew in terms of the questions that I had on their gender identity, because like I said, I'd been transferred to an all-girls school, I knew maybe it wouldn't be best to ask them. I didn't want to put them in an uncomfortable situation. I didn't have, you know, the most educated language, and I knew that. So I didn't want to put them in that position. So I went and I asked one of the cis friends that I've seen interact with them separately to be like, you know, we're at an all-girls school. Is so-and-so a girl or a boy? And they clarified to me that they were a boy. Obviously now I have the language to just ask someone, oh, what are your pronouns? Even when I didn't have the language, I had common sense to be like, maybe asking them if they're a he or a she, asking them if they're a girl or a boy would put them in an uncomfortable position. I don't want to trigger, you know, any gender dysmorphia. I at least had that concept, and that's just common sense and common decency. That's somebody with good intentions. You don't know the language, you don't know what to say, and you're outright saying, oh, you're a girl to a trans man. You don't have good intentions. You have malicious intentions. She keeps saying, I don't know why I said it, I don't know why she said it. She knows exactly why she said it. She couldn't help herself because she sees trans people as other and she sees them as fair game. for her invasive thoughts, for entertainment, for power play. She knows exactly what she was doing, but she knows that she took it too far and she doesn't want to be cancelled. So now she's laying low for now. She's not really getting involved. And it seems like the general consensus in the house is that she said what she said sorry, so let's move past it. I don't know about you, but I like to hold a grudge. But I get it. In the house, you kind of have to move on in the situation. Still don't like this energy of coddling going on. And I feel like the only one who was kind of noticing the coddling and felt uncomfortable with the coddling was Cameron K. He was trying to scope out the room to be like, does anyone think Caroline's a fucking bitch? Everybody kept saying, oh, she's a good person. But I know Cameron K wanted to have a bitch with someone to be like, Caroline knew exactly what she was doing and she's a fucking bitch. I see you, Cameron K. You're growing on me. But yeah, I feel like the damage is kind of done. We don't really see Caroline sitting with, you know, the girls and the gays anymore. And I guess we'll see what happens next week, whether she's going to be up for nominations, because she did bring the mood down. She did absolutely bring the mood down. But I've got to hear from you guys. Are we buying Caroline's apology, or do we feel like she only really cares about how she's perceived by the public and getting cancelled? And how do we feel about the house's reaction? Do we feel like this is just a mature thing to do, to, you know, accept Caroline's apology and move on? Or do you feel like, you know, there was not enough interrogation going on with Caroline? You know, do you think people kind of gave her a pass, babying her a little bit? I've got to hear from you guys.